a black woman was assaulted by a brick by another black man. And as this sister said, no one came to her rescue. This is the situation that happened just a couple of days ago, and it was a very disturbing situation because the sister went on to her social media page, and it was picked up by the Shade Room and other sites. But the sister went on to her own social media page to just moments afterwards. This is the sis right here talking about the fact, and you can see her face. Man, oh man. I don't know, King Kingdom, can we I don't know if we have any sound that we can put up on here. But this sister was assaulted by a black man, and it has made national news. The crazy part about this whole story is not just the fact that she was assaulted by a black man with a brick, but that other black men were standing around and no one intervened. Mm. I want to bring my sister Suzette Speaks back into here, back into the frame here. This I heard this about the story maybe like just over the weekend, over Memorial Day, over the Labor Day weekend, and it pissed me off. Now there are some other elements to this story, right? Because there are some folks that actually, we heard about this story, but then I saw on social media, on Twitter, X, and some of the other social media spaces where people have found video of this same sister going around slapping people. But it wasn't I could tell that this was not her video of slapping. I saw two videos, one of her slapping a younger white male and then the other one slapping an older white male. But it didn't seem like this was a violent interaction. It seemed like it was a skit. It seemed like it was something that was planned. But this situation here does not warrant, even though she did a video like that, does not warrant a person getting hit by a brick, Suzette, in the face that could have literally killed her. And it certainly did not warrant for her to be assaulted in this manner and no one steps in.
Yeah, Faraji, I too saw the viral post that was on the Shade Room and everywhere on social media featuring this young lady, and it really, I had an emotional reaction to it. Of course, like most of those who watched it, it was shocking to see someone, posting from the hospital, face swole up, as she alleges that she refused to give man, it looked like they were in the club or some kind of, nightclub scene where, a person called or sought to get her phone number. And she said, no,
Yeah.
that's what she gave as far as her account as to what happened allegedly. And that she therefore, received a brick to the face by this individual, and that there were other men that were present that she, said did nothing, that they stood around, didn't defend her, etc. So I think there are a couple lessons from this, Faraji, and messages that we can kind of, take away. And I don't think we can play this down, Faraji, because I think they will flag it on YouTube as belonging to somebody else. But when I saw this, again, like most people, we had this kind of visceral reaction as to how dare this person, the perpetrator allegedly, do something so heinous. And again, we have seen this in many instances where there are women who are the victim of violence, specifically Black women, and it seems as if it's taken with the most casual grain of salt that anyone could offer, as if our bodies, our beings are not as worthy of protection and solidarity as other, specifically speaking, women. In this case, I think there are some macro and some micro lessons, global lessons that we can say that, this helps to bring awareness to, again, this sad state of misogynoir that has become a part of, I think, American politics. How, people who are very involved, the squad, for example, leaders who are Black women, we talked about Fani Willis, and we've talked about Letitia James and those women who have had an added layer of, vitriol that is not just based on their, job, but on who they are as people, right? Their womanhood, their blackness, and the tone is often anti-black, and how that has, added this new, I guess, low to American politics. But I
Yeah.
also want to look at the facts of this case. And again, there are so many parts that are moving still, because this is now, becoming a much more known individual. Now, again, there's nothing about this case, let me be clear, that would justify anybody putting a brick on, this level, throwing it at somebody's head, so that you see like this type of, injury brought onto somebody. Bodily harm is never okay, and violence against women is never okay. I have also been looking, trying to get some more context as to, can I believe that there are men that just stood around and did nothing? There are a couple of outlets that are reporting, and these are just allegations. Again, this is not to justify, but this is just to also put out more information than what is available in this initial, account that she gave. There's a young man who put up a Instagram video that has been commented on, and I got it out of, and I can actually, my phone is what I'm using here, but I can pull up his name so you could see it. A YouTube video that talks about a gentleman who claims he was there that night, who claims he was one of these so-called bystanders, and says that this young lady, in fact, according to him, this is all allegation, was a quote troublemaker, or quote, may have instigated some of what transpired. I don't know that's what happened. This is one individual who was also there, who claims to have been there, let's say, and said that this person has had a problematic past in terms of behavior. I am not here to defend, or deny or any of that, but I'm offering it as additional pieces to this contextual puzzle that may
Hmm.
underline for this specific case what happened and what actually transpired. I think we need more information. I don't think we have all the facts. As I told you, I thought, I have to look deeper into this, Faraji. This bothered me so greatly to see this transpire. Nonetheless, it would not warrant this level of if you want to call
Violence.
it, yeah, violence or retaliation or any of that. If
Yeah.
your life is not in danger, what are we doing? So no matter what, it would not have been appropriate. The piece I'm really curious about as to why, if it is true how she kind of brought the story forward, that people did not intervene. I'm like, I can't believe humanity has gotten that low. Like, I can't believe, like, I have to really understand what happened. That was just one account. Again, it's unverified. I'm just putting it out there as another layer to this specific case. But nonetheless, the message is still very clear that we have an issue in our society with, protecting of women. And again, in this specific case, it might not be the textbook case that we want to use, depending on what perhaps was her behavior involved in seeing this unfold. Nonetheless, I do think it is a good conversation starter when it comes to talking about, what it means to have solidarity from Black men for situations that do warrant, equal protection, if you will, and
Right.
sometimes intervention by brothers, and we can still talk about it again from that lens.
And here's the big thing. Here's the big thing. I see brothers, unfortunately, trying to play detective
Mm.
instead of playing protector. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If this was your look, if any of us had daughters, nieces, a woman, a young woman in our lives that we care and love and are responsible for, and she, regardless of if she instigated, let me just put this up, because this is I think we need to start with a point blank like foundation, regardless of what she's instigated. Okay, she was talking bad about somebody. Keenan, show the video again. Y'all, I want y'all to see this. This is not just a he say, she say. She didn't get this bump on her face from hitting herself. What are we talking about here? And I'm talking to the men. What are we talking about? Like, what did she do? And what really happened? Look at her face. It's real simple. You deal with all of that other stuff after the fact. You don't let me play detective, because if that was your daughter, I'm not asking questions first and then going into action. Come on, man. Like this is exactly why black women, and look, the sad part is I was reading the comments on this situation. This sister's really in pain. I was reading the comments on the situation, and I saw one sister, she posted this on Instagram, Suzette. She said, black women, just know that we are on our own. Black men don't care about us anymore. Man, that hurt me. That hurt me as a man, as a black man, as a father of a daughter. That hurt. That we get to this point and sisters are saying we on our own. I don't care about the details. I'm serious. I really don't care. I don't care if she did this as a skit. She was going around. This sister got hit in the face by a brick, y'all. If that was your daughter, say if your daughter, your niece, your granddaughter started something and a dude took a brick and smacked her across the head. Maybe she said something and she come home looking like that. What you gonna say? Well, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have done what you did. You would be the worst father, uncle, grandfather in the world. No.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I don't think it excuses any of.
No, I know you're not saying that, Suzette.
But I'm putting out there what the internet is saying, because I think there is always more to the story when we see it, and I don't think it's fair to put all black men in one box.
Oh wait, let me just.
And I know that you weren't, right?
No, I know that's what I'm saying. But
and I want us to be very careful when we see black kind of viral behavior. We say black people A or black people B.
Right.
It's not all black people.
It's not all black people. And you don't like my music. You say, I do care about the details. What if she physically assaulted someone first? Did she assault them with a brick? So you get slapped. Somebody slaps you, and then you pick up a brick, and you could damn near kill a person.
Mm.
So that makes sense to you. You don't like my music. Come on, man. Come on. Man, come on. Think about that. I don't care if she assaulted you first. Her hand and a brick are two different weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody slaps you in the face, you can walk away. Somebody put a brick to your face, you may not walk away at all. So this is the type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like now we get into this micro, like, but what happened first? Who would she say? What she do? And who said this? I think one of our another crew members said this. Oh man, I know we pressed for time. But someone else said, making a point that the way we are approaching this, trying to see what her past action, what she could have done to instigate the situation, is like a woman wearing a certain type of dress and she gets raped.
Understood.
Do we say that that's her fault that she got raped? That's a slippery slope, man. That's I'm gonna tell you that's a very slippery slope. I don't care about the internet chat. I really don't care. I don't care about, because I know for me, again, this strikes home just like it struck home for you too, Suzette. If something happened to Suzette, and God forbid it's something that does happen to her, I don't care which Suzette is. I don't care if she's drunk. I don't care if you partying, you real. I don't care. Something happened to my sister. No, bro. No. We whipping ass. You gotta address that. You gotta address that. See, if we get into that space, then you just already showing your weakness as a man, as a protector, as you weak. You weak, and you just say that. Just say that you weak.
No matter. And I get your point as being no matter what precipitated this event, we'll call it that. There is no justification of that disproportionate reaction and use of violence. That is very clear. And I do think there are people, and again, I've been reading comments both you call it both ways, with people saying, and I'm just putting this out there, I'm not saying this is my own opinion, but I've seen it proposed by men in general, talking about why or they will or will not intervene. Black men obviously have a higher burden, if you will, of them becoming therefore the victims of violence if and when they do intervene. Not saying they shouldn't. I think it does add another layer of kind of how they think about approaching a situation that is, gone awry. I'm thinking about right here in South Florida. We've had a couple of shootings lately. One was up in Fort Lauderdale where a man tried to intervene. It was in a Walmart, and a man who was a former co-worker of a lady was coming after her with a gun, and the guy did intervene, and he lost his life. I think there's a contemplation that we need to be sensitive of, not to say I am telling anyone that they should act or not act, but that we have to recognize what's going on in today's society. Men are looking at certain situations and saying, is this a possible, situation that could cost me my life? And how should I approach it if I do get involved? I think that's a real contemplation that we should at least acknowledge is happening. Not to say it's right, not to say it's wrong, not to pass judgment on that, but I do think there are, men who will feel that I have to look at a situation twice now and say, should I intervene, and if so, how, so that I preserve my own life? If this is not, a person that I know or complete stranger. Obviously, right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm just saying that some of the commentary I've been reading has brought forth that questioning by a lot of brothers as far as when it is appropriate and how much do you risk when you are intervening. And again, this is a
I
multi-layered
mean,
thing of
I get it.
this.
Trust me,
Yeah,
I get it, Suzette. And I know we got to wrap up, and I get it. I trust me, I get it. I have seen domestic situations jump off, and I lie to you not. I have physically put myself in harm's way in some of these cases, right? And I was informed by older black men, man, you need to be careful. But it's like at the moment of a situation, I can't stand seeing no black man or no man beating on no woman. I don't care if it's a white woman or it's a Latino woman or it's a black woman. When you see that type of brutality, that does something to your thinking, to your heart. Like you can't just be like, well, just because she shouldn't have. Man, nobody give up about none of that at the end of the day, man. If a man is beating on a woman and you are watching it, you have every duty to intervene as a man. I'm saying this as a man. You do not, and I get it, but you gotta say something. At least say, hey man, what you doing or something. Or you have to intervene in some way. So use the best of intelligence, but you gotta do something. You can't just watch a woman getting beat down in the street like she an animal. And then you sitting there like, damn man, what'd she do? Man, stop asking so many damn questions and do something. Get off your goddamn phone, man, and just do something.
yeah.
Like
And I
I'm
agree with
tired of
that.
seeing weakness. We go to look. This is the same thing when we saw a brother killed in New York City. Brothers go to the gym, but can't use a damn muscle sometimes because you're so weak here and you weak here, but you want to walk around like you want to do something. Sit your ass down, man. You ain't gonna do nothing. If you watch a man beating down on your people like that, whether it's a black man or a woman, you ain't gonna do nothing. I've seen small guys jumping into big frays because guess what? They have no fear in their heart. They have no fear. And that's how God blesses you to have. You come into a situation, small stature, but once you come into a situation with no fear and you got the presence of mind and you're doing the right thing, you will get the power to overcome any situation.
Mhm.
You need to get that fear out your heart, man. You
Yeah.
need to get that. I'm not going to let nobody just beat down on a woman and just be like, man, she shouldn't have done that. Shit, that's great.
No, 100%. All violence against women, we do not condone it, or it should be,
No.
elevated to the point where people feel compelled, men and women, to intervene, right? To see somebody in distress, see somebody who, is about to be, violated in this type of way, say something, do something, try to call the police, do whatever you can within your means to interject. I just think in this specific case, as many are going to argue, what does that have to do with anything? I get that. It's wrong, right? At the base level, it's wrong. Yapping or whatever may have occurred or precipitated that, it's wrong, right? Pick up a
Yeah,
brick and hit somebody in the head could have taken her life. It's wrong. It's absolutely deplorable. I'm looking at it also from the other lenses of the discussions I've seen. Why, if that is the truth, why not? And I wanted to get to the bottom of that.
yeah,
But as you're saying, we do need this kind of principled approach across the board, that the rules of engagement lead us more so to act than not to act. I agree with that. And hopefully,
absolutely.
no violence is begetting violence, right? Don't instigate nothing. Don't put yourself in a position. However, it's not to be used as an excuse in this scenario. But I'm also kind of advocating for being, accountable in all parties, right? Those who stood by, those who were involved. Why did you do this? But again, I agree with your premise. It doesn't even matter. You shouldn't have done it in the first place, right? And I
That's
think
it.
we are looking at the societal acceptance of, well, this was justified, etc. Not saying that that's where I'm coming from. I'm just saying the discussions online have produced a lot of discussion about what happened before, what happened after, and why. So I think it's important that we
Absolutely.
kind of fill in some of the context just for
Yeah,
informational purposes so people can understand what actually we're hearing now and
yeah,
beyond the original video.
absolutely, absolutely. There is and I know we got to end this. There is a growing trend. We've heard the terminology toxic masculinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now there's a growing school of thought around what they're now termed as heroic masculinity. And for those who may not be familiar with this term, I would advise you to take a look at it. There are a number of, thought pieces that are being written about this. And this is where men see themselves as protectors, coming in to defend women, coming in to defend those who are find themselves in a inferior position, not in no braggadocious type of way, but just coming in to protect. So there's a different school of thought. Yeah, we've been conditioned for toxic masculinity for years. Now we should be in an age of heroic masculinity where we're
Mm.
jumping into the fray. And this is what we see with police officers, male police officers, firefighters, those who put their lives on the line. They're not asking questions. No firefighter say, well, how did the fire start? They just go right in and start saving lives, right? They ask questions after the fact. We have to get to that place with Black women. Otherwise, this divide is going to keep getting bigger and bigger, Suzette. And more important, going back to that comment that I read on Instagram, women are going to lose faith. Brothers, women are going to lose faith in our ability to protect them.